Now that my wife is a grandmother, she and other grandmothers at Morris Central School, where she works, share stories about their grandchildren. And one such story from one of her colleagues was about how this colleague had entertained her grandchildren by giving them children's safety scissors and letting them cut grass along the edge of the garden. Well, apparently the kids entertained themselves for quite a while doing this. So Stacia, remembering the story and wanting to entertain our 3-year-old grandson, found a pair of safety scissors, and she set Grayson to trimming the garden thyme, the little low herb that grows along the base of the stone retaining wall in our garden. And she occupied herself nearby pulling weeds and tending the compost, and Stacia didn't realize her mistake until Grayson walked up. My 3-year-old grandson walked up holding a recently set broccoli plant in his hand. Now, the thin stem of the young plant was neatly cut off right above where it had entered the ground. And he was so proud of having rid us of so large a weed. And we were fortunate in that Grayson only cut one of our 6 broccoli plants, so we were still able to grow some to eat fresh and some to freeze for winter. And Stacia, she couldn't get mad at Grayson. I mean, after all, she was a few feet away pulling up little plants left and right and throwing them in a bucket. My grandson was only trying to help. It wasn't his fault that he didn't know one plant from another. I mean, after all, he was only 3. But sometimes even adults cannot distinguish between what is helpful and what is not. And Jesus talks about such folks in today's gospel reading. In the parable he shares, he compares the kingdom of heaven to someone who plants good seed in their field. And when everyone is asleep, an enemy scatters bad seed over the field where the good seed is planted. Well, the servants of the grower recognize what has happened and suggest he allow them to go and gather or weed out the bad plants. But the grower tells them not to do that. He says, when the grain is ripe, I will tell the reapers to gather the weeds first and bundle them to be burned. Then gather the grain and put it in my barns. And although the disciples apparently didn't understand the meaning of the parable, for they asked Jesus in private to explain it, they did have knowledge that was much more common then than it is now. They understood about the particular weed problem faced by wheat growers. The wheat was particularly susceptible to invasion by a type of ryegrass that resembled wheat. But the problem was this grain was intoxicating in small doses and fatal in larger amounts. And it didn't help that this grass, it was called darnel. It didn't help that it looked just like wheat until it ripened. And trying to weed it out of the wheat in an early stage would have endangered the roots of the wheat and likely caused removal of desirable plants along with the undesirable. And this is why the grower told his servants that he would have the reapers take care of it. Well, the disciples didn't understand how this example was like the kingdom of heaven. So Jesus explained that the sower The man scattering the seeds was the Son of Man. The field was the world. The good seeds were the kingdom, were the children of the kingdom, and the bad seeds were the children of the evil one. The enemy who sowed them was the devil. The harvest was the end of the age, and the reapers were angels. Now there's somebody that Jesus leaves out of his explanation. He doesn't tell us about the servants who wanted to do the weeding. He leaves them out of the explanation because they have no part in the kingdom. I mean, think about what it is they want to do. They want to rush right in and use their own judgment to decide what is worthy and what is not. And this would unwittingly disturb the growth of the children of the kingdom, or even worse, mistakenly pluck them out in their righteous fervor. In this way, these servants and we are much like Grayson with his little round point scissors, neither knowing one plant from the other, but doing our best to weed out the bad. But that is not our job. In the kingdom of heaven, we are not meant to be attendants, weeders, planters, or harvesters. We are intended to be the wheat, lovingly scattered by the hand of God. It is our place to be patient and to grow in the rich soil of this creation. And while we may be surrounded by false wheat, like darnel, plants that take water and nutrients from the soil we share and give back only poison, it is not our job to resent that, because God is in charge. We cannot help God manage the garden kingdom. We're vastly unqualified to do so. I mean, would we really presume to know God's plan for weeding and harvest? Or would we march right up to Christ carrying a freshly clipped broccoli plant saying, "Look what I did for you. You're welcome"? I'll say it again. Our part in the kingdom of heaven is not that of laborer, planter, harvester, or anything touching crop management. We are the crop. We are the harvest. It is simply our job to be patient and grow. Grow in the love of God. Grow in the love of each other. And grow in the love of the false wheat that threatens to crowd us out and steal resources intended for us. Because when the harvesters do come with their sharpened scythes and their grain rakes, don't be surprised if Christ has turned all the bad seed to wheat. Thanks be to God.